anything that was transferred from Germany in May 39, I would have thought would have gone in the direction of Cuba. It certainly didn't end up in England. We had no funds whatsoever. I believe the support came from the Refugee Association and from my grandfather, but that must have been limited because my grandfather was not well off either.
Did you have any recollection as to your appreciation at the time as to why you had left what was a fairly affluent home in Germany to come to England?
That I remember very well because we were Jewish, and because of the Nazi regime, that sort of became quite apparent quite early on, as soon as the war had started. We were not welcomed too well by the English initially because we were German, and we looked German, and we spoke German, and the English people quite rightly didn't particularly like that. So our sort of mixing with English people was virtually non-existent, which is really mixed amongst the refugees themselves. And this part of London and Northwest 3, Swiss Cottage, Hampstead, it was predominantly Jewish and refugee people from Hungary, from Germany, from Austria, Czechoslovakia and so forth.
The Voyage of the SS St. Louis. I chose this topic because I didn't know what it was about and it seemed cool. Following the night of Kristallnacht, Adolf Hitler wanted to find any way he could of getting rid of the Jews. His idea was to send them on a ship called the SS St. Louis. There were a total of 937 Jews when it left Europe, and this journey was led by Captain Gustav Schroeder. The ship's initial route was to Havana, Cuba. When they got there, their permits were denied. After Cuba said no, the Jews on board were devastated. Next, they tried America, but they also refused. After they wouldn't take them, their last resort was Canada, but even they wouldn't take them in. When they returned, the only thing left for Hitler to do was kill them.
The liner St. Louis, turned back from Cuba, brings its human cargo to port at last. 907 Jewish unfortunates without a country, permitted to land in Belgium after 5 weeks of suspense afloat. Through American generosity, they will find at least temporary shelter in France, Holland, and England. These are but a fortunate few, saved by publicity from the fate of their fellows. 10,000 of their kinsmen are still homeless on the high seas, seeking sanctuary in vain. 3 million more are in bondage in Central Europe, a bondage forcing them to the greatest migration since the days of the pharaohs. Helpless victims, they, of a merciless regime that spares neither rich nor poor, ill, aged, or young, that strips them of virtually all but their clothes and casts them out. And yet for these few who have escaped, penniless but undaunted, life still looks sweet.
I want my audience to remember how important and tragic this really was, because if any of the countries would have taken these Jews, there would have been no Holocaust.